Hey guys, I'm Aussie Villa and welcome to the transfer special for Leeds United, the first star as we look to go between the 22-23 season into the 23-24 season. And today we are going to be a transfer special. We're going to look to build a team to go a little bit better than we managed last year, of course, finishing 5th in the Premier League and being reducing ourselves to Europa League football for this coming season. Now we have the team of the save, our team at the club so far. But while you have a quick look at that, I just wanted a big thank you to start with for a new Patreon supporter of mine, Ben Sampson. Thank you so much, mate. As I always say, Patreon support, it's not expected, but it is so appreciated. So thank you, mate. Thank you to everybody else who supports me on Patreon. And there is a link down in the description if you want to go and have a look for yourself for something you want to do. But if not, like I say, thank you for watching more than enough. So this is the team that we have of our time at Leeds United so far. So Casilla in goal, fair enough. He's been, apart from the last season or two, he's been the main guy. So I think Onana will take that eventually, but maybe not quite yet. We can see there Coyle, Bonifazi, Suter and Douglas. I'm okay with that as our best back four so far. Phillips, Bogac and McAlmont, I think that's fair enough as well. Batista Meyer on the right, maybe controversial there, though I don't know who else, if this is the formation that we're going to play in, I don't know who else would be out there. But Bowen on the left is a no-brainer, and Liao up top again, I think is a bit of a no-brainer. On the bench, it's Onana, Cooper, who's going to be unlucky not to be in that first 11, I would imagine. Bartelic, Mariba, Alina, Shackleton, and Edouard. So it's a really strong team that we've had, isn't it? Now, what do we want to do this transfer window, I hear you ask? I've been thinking about this. What do we do with this Leeds United team? Because on paper, it's a decent team. I had a bad team meeting, which is why morale's not gone too well. They don't think we can make Champions League next year. I think we can. We had a bit of a disagreement about that. Where do I think we need to upgrade? I think right back is something. Louis Coyle, of course, player of the season, so that's not to be sneezed at. But I think he's good. I think Bartelic we can move on. And I don't think that... Where's the young guy that we signed? This guy here. I don't think he's quite going to cut it for us. So I think right back is something I'd like to do. If we are going to play with wingers, which it looks increasingly like we're going to, then I think we need to get at least another right winger in. Because we look, Bowen can play both sides. Felix on the left. I think if we get somebody who can play just on the right, I think Helder Costa... I think his time at the club needs to come to an end, and that'll free up some money there. Otherwise, maybe a centre-back. Maybe we look to move on to, say, Bonifazi, who is... Where's Bonifazi? Bonifazi, where are you, mate? There you are. He's decent without being great, I think. So maybe we could move him on if we get half of that. We'll be cheering, to be honest. I think Toussaint, maybe his time has come. It served his purpose. Time to move him on. And if we do that, I think we're going to see next season that Max Dean is ready for more first-team football. Where's he down here? So that's kind of one. And then if I think maybe one other sort of major, sort of really good centre-back. I think that might be it. I think the strikers I'm willing to give another chance to and just kind of see where we go from there. Relatively happy at left back, relatively happy in the centre of midfield, and goalkeeper, we've got an absolute star. The big problem we're going to have, and it's the thing we need to deal with first, as a matter of fact, if we look at contract expiry dates, we have a lot of contracts expiring next season, and almost to a man, all these guys want new contracts, which is going to be much increased wages. So the first job I think is going to be get this fixed up, re-sign the players we want to re-sign, and look to sell the guys that we want to sell. And after that, we'll see what's left. Finances, you can see we haven't got a budget for next season as of yet, but we're already over our wage bills. So that's going to be difficult. But anyway, it's not supposed to be easy, is it? Wait right there, guys. We'll be back when we have something to report. There should be some Premier League awards coming up soon as well. Okay, a quick update here on some contract renewals. Max Dean has renewed. That's, of course, our young centre-back that's come through the academy. So he's here for 5 years. McAlmont has renewed for 3 years. He's on 38 grand a week right now. 3 years? 4 years. Where's your maths, Aussie villain? Calvin Phillips has renewed for 4 years. 78 grand a week. He wanted close to 90, so we talked him down a little bit, but that is a chunk of change. And Liam Cooper, he's literally just here to be captain and tell players that everything's okay. And we're paying him 18.5 grand a week to do that for 2 more years. So that's good to see. But I'm always complaining about how we don't have a big enough wage budget. Look at this. Confirmation of my concerns. We have the smallest wage to turnover ratio in the Premier League. That is ridiculous. Almost a quarter. A little bit more than a quarter of our turnover is on wages. Now, we do have our budget for next season now. With those contract renewals, we are already, 30 grand a week over. We have 81 million to spend in transfer budget, so obviously we'll move some of that over. I'm in the process of trying to sell a few players as well, which should help that situation. We do have a bid. I'm trying to get Tucson out. We've transfer listed him. There's interest in him, so hopefully he'll leave. Bonifazi, there's no interest there yet. But I might need to be a little bit more proactive about this just because his contract is up. We're going to have to make a decision on him. Helder Costa, we have a bid in for him off to Rostov, hopefully. Not the biggest transfer fee, but I'm just willing to get what I can for him, to be honest. Edmondson, I want to renew him. He just needs to realize that he's not worth 56 grand a week, whatever it was he wanted. So once he comes to that realization, then we'll offer him a new contract and he'll stay as well. So that's the update. Yeah, wages are a problem. Okay, commercial summary time. Everybody's favourite part of the season. So it's one of mine, actually. I really look forward to this. I don't know why. We have 5 new sponsorship deals worth £6 million a year. We have a new sponsorship deal, a 2-year deal, which is worth a little bit more than the previous deal, which is good. Sponsorship, though, look at this. Overall, it's gone up from just under 14 million to 34 and a quarter, just under 34 and a quarter million. So a nice little boost there. Prawn sandwiches sales were down last year, which is unfortunate. Match day income and commercial sales, it looks like we're down a little bit as well. Broadcast revenue down a little bit as well again. A little bit surprising that, actually, considering we were in Champions League last season. Competition prize money went up from just under 54 million to just over 71. And the player shirt sales. We sold 3.9 million worth of sales. About 10% of that was foreign. Haaland was the top-selling shirt with Phillips, Edouard, Bogac, and Leao. So a lot of disappointed shirt wearers last season, I would suggest. We do have our new scouting budget as well, but that just kind of is what it is. We haven't really made any other progress on getting players in or out. One person that did come up in the scouting report here, and we're going to have a cheeky bid for him. 10 grand to sign this guy as a centre-back, an 18-year-old promising centre-back. Look at that jumping reach and balance. 10 grand. We're going to get him. Okay, first piece of breaking news of the summer, and Helder Costa is leaving the club. £5.25 million. He's off to Russia to play for Rostov. So that's fine. That gets him out of the club. We are also looking to invest in the youth facilities. So that will be done by sort of September-ish of this current year, this coming season. So that's good. If we go and have a look at what that means for club facilities, everything then should be state-of-the-art, which will be perfect, which is absolutely wonderful. So that is that. I did ask for a new contract as well. Our contract is up at the end of this coming season, and we were denied. So that's not great. Hopefully, hopefully that'll change by the end of the season. But anyway, there are the updates. We're still I'm looking for players. We're June 1st, so there's no real rush yet. But we're still looking for a winger, a winger, a centre-back, I think, and a right-back. I can't remember. We're looking for players anyway. Okay, some small breaking news, but breaking news nonetheless. 2 young future signings to unveil. We did end up getting the young defender there for 10 grand. He's a B+ reaction from the fans, which is good. He's in the under 23s. He's a centre-back. I think he's going to do okay for us. I'll be honest, we're paying him $2.5 grand a week for 4 seasons, so we get a good chance to have a look at him. And it's one of these. I feel like it's worst case scenario. We'll end up selling him on for a nice little profit. He hasn't really played at any level before, but I think he's decent, so I'm quite happy with that. And the other one we've just signed, £140,000 from Valencia. A young defensive midfielder, Luis, with double L's. B- signing this guy. We're paying him 8 grand a week, so a little bit more in wages, but he's not a little bit better. He's a lot better potentially. Potentially a 5-star player. Can sit back in there, so he could be somebody. Calvin Phillips, I'm thinking, he's not going to be around forever. This guy could come in and sort of slot right in there, and sort of with Noah Kenny. Just kind of be the two that sort of defensive midfielders that we have. So I think he's going to do quite well for us. It's at 8 grand a week for 4 years. Really, really high potential. And I can't believe we got him for £140,000, to be honest. That's an absolute steal. He has played a game in La Liga for Valencia as well. So I'm not quite sure what they're thinking letting him go for that. But we'll take him. Harry, just got an email from Trump. He wants to send Liam Cooper to the Middle East to solve the peace crisis. Hang on, mate. Hello? Oh, Alan Pardew, how you doing, Pards? Good, thanks, mate, good. What are you up to? You're back at Crystal Palace. Well done, mate, well done. You know what, we should catch up. Do you want to go hit the pints tonight? You've got dancing lessons. It's probably for the best, mate, probably for the best. Well, what do I owe the honour to then, mate? You want to sign Gary Turpie. Not for sale, mate, not for sale. I'm sorry, how much? A £32 million bid has come in from Crystal Palace for Gary Turpie. I'm not going to sell you, Gary, but well done. That's quite the transfer bid. 24 million up front. You can see there the installments. I'm tempted to see how much we could get them up to. I wonder if we could go as high as 50. I mean, it's a lot of money for a youngster that is, worth 10 million. But I mean, there's a lot of potential there, and he's still getting better as we've seen. But so we're not going to sell, but £32 million for one of our academy graduates. I'm surprised the board didn't take over and just say we're doing it. Okay, massive breaking news, and we have signed a new absolute star. I think you'd pronounce it Rainier, I don't know. Anyway, we've signed him for 17 million, potentially rising up to 30.5. All the usual add-ons there, 50 games, 50 goals, and if we were to win the Europa League, we're going to be paying him, you can see here, £63,000 a week. He's a star player, and when you see him, you'll understand why. You can see all the bonuses there. There is a minimum release clause for clubs in the Champions League, 120 million. He was insisting on that, so there wasn't too much we could do about it. But if we get 120 million, then we'll take it and run. But let's have a quick look at what we've signed here. And as I said, we have signed an absolute star from Flamengo in Brazil. He can pretty much play anywhere as a striker, as an attacking midfielder. This is obviously where he's more natural and where I think we will look to play him. He could also play a little bit further back in midfield as well. But physically, he's absolutely magnificent. Mentally, he's adequate to good, but what I do like is the flair and the vision. They're sort of the two main things for a creative player. But look at this, he can dribble, good first touch, decent finishing, good long shots, good passing, good technique. I really think we signed a good player here. I think what we'll look to do is maybe him and Ruiz can kind of share the number 10 role. Alina can obviously play there as well, but we might look to use Alina a little bit deeper in midfield this season. And it might be a case where somebody needs to leave the club as well. But when you see when a player like this comes up for 17 million, I had to sign him. There was just no choice in the matter. We're still looking at some more players. I still want to get a right winger in. I'm still looking to strengthen at right back. That we're having a little bit of problem there doing that. And maybe a centre back. It depends what happens with Bonifazi. So a little bit of a coup for our assistant manager. I said I wanted to try and upgrade. We've only gone and got Leonardo Jardim. Now, of course, he was manager at Monaco most recently twice. You can see he's a very good manager of his own right. He's now my assistant manager at Leeds United. So that's all right, isn't it? All right then, Keiko. Well, here we go. Welcome to your new home. I hope you enjoy it here. The nice ladies and gentlemen, they'll look after you. And of course, if you need to use the toilet, don't forget to ring the bell. All right, mate. Enjoy your life. Enjoy retirement. I'm getting back to football. Okay, we're up to June 30, and Kiko Casilla has officially retired from the club, from professional football, not just from the club. I've tried to offer him a coaching job. I feel a bit bad, but try to offer him something at the club. The only thing he wants is to be under 18's assistant manager, and God love him, he's just not there yet. If we didn't have if our assistant manager wasn't quite so good, I'd maybe consider it more. But if we go to under 18 staff and have a look at our under 18's assistant manager, you can see here we've got Kenny Black, and to be honest, you can see there's a small difference in ability. So he's just not going to get that job, unfortunately. Alright, breaking news and more big breaking news. It's our first team player. We have signed, I'm not going to be good at this name, Cenez Under from Roma. We've signed him on a permanent deal, 18.25 million. He was transfer listed, 75 grand a week we're paying him. Fans don't really like him, but I've got to say, I think the fans are wrong here. This guy is an absolute star. Now, he's left-footed winger, but he can play naturally on the right, so I think that'll just about do. So this is basically Helder Costa's replacement, and I think he's a nice little upgrade. He's got really good pace about him, good crossing, good dribbling, good finishing, first touch is there, decent long shot as well, good off-the-ball movement. He can play on the left as well, obviously being left-footed. What I think I like about this, though, being left-footed and natural on the right, he could cut in and unleash some of this 17 long shot. So there we go, 75 grand a week is a little bit more than ideally I would have liked to have paid, but to be honest, to get him at such a cheap transfer fee, I don't think we've done too badly. He's been playing in Roma. He's a bit of a wonder kid in the game, sort of in earlier editions. He hasn't done brilliantly in Serie A, but like I say, I think he'll do well for us. So there we go. That is another major signing done. What I think we want to do now is a right back. And just maybe have a look and see if we have too many attacking players. Albert Ruiz, is he a winger? Is he a number 10? Is he a striker? I think he's all of the above. I'm wondering if maybe Leao or Edouard starts to sort of become excess to requirements now. Okay, breaking news, and it's a double departure at centre-back to announce. Kevin Bonifazi, Big Kev, has left us. His contract was up at the end of the year. I wasn't sure we wanted to keep him, so 28 million, he's going off to Monaco. And yeah, like I say, didn't necessarily want to sell him to get him out of the club because he wasn't useful, but contract up the end of the year. I think we'd moved past him. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. So we've got some money. We can go and now get another good, hopefully good young defender. And the other one is Toussaint has left us as well. We signed him on a free. Now, what did we sign Kevin Bonifazi for? We've actually made a tiny little profit on him, I think. Signed him for 9 million. Got 3 really good years out of him and then sold him on for 28. So I think we've done quite well there. And how old is he? He's 27. So I think that's okay. And then Toussaint, of course, we signed him from Manchester City on a free transfer, I believe, at the end of his contract. He's gone off to Italy as well, to Italy at Atlanta. 7.5 million we've got for him. Again, we'd moved past him. He was a good physical player, but technically and mentally, he wasn't quite good enough for us anymore. And again, we got him on a free, got 2 good seasons out of him, and then sold him on for a nice little profit. So really, really good stuff. Now, a few other outs to catch you up on here, because we have had a few. Who has left here? Jack Watts, a couple of youngsters that left. Jack Watts, we sold him with a 50% sell-on clause. He's never really going to make it for us. And the other youngster that left is Kieran Griggs off to Aston Villa for $500,000. And again, we've got a 50% sell-on clause. The other one, perhaps maybe surprising to some, is Joe Lumley. His contract was up at the end of the year. Wolves came in with a bid, 1.2 million, so we sold him as well. We do have a youngster coming through who was out on loan last year, Tom Williams-Askey. I think he's probably just about good enough to be the backup for this year. So we'll use him in the number 2 role. And then we do have another third choice guy here. Remember, we signed this guy from Arsenal on a free transfer, kind of see what happened. He's more than adequate to start to be there as third choice if we need him. Potentially he's a Premier League quality player. So that is the outs. We do probably need to get another centre back in now. That and a right back are my 2 sort of main objectives. Okay, more breaking news, and it's another departure, and it is Edouard, or however you say that, Edouard, that has left. £30 million. We really, really did land on our feet on this one, because he was, let's face it, a massive, massive disappointment at Leeds United. We paid, what do we pay for him? We paid 21 million. He played 42 games and scored 9 goals in the league. So an absolute disgrace. But we managed. We've made a profit on him in his time at the club, which is brilliant. As I said, we've landed on our feet a little bit there. We've got 70 grand off the wage bill as well, which is a great thing. So Edouard is no longer a Leeds United player. Update on the stadium, the expansion has been completed, so Ellen Road now holds 52,390 spectators. Now we can expand it up to 60,000. I mean, it costs a lot of money to do, to upgrade the 14,500. I think what we might do is wait and see if we fill it this year. I'd like to think we will, being, that we're a relatively competitive team now, in both domestically and in Europe. And if we can do that, then maybe we look to go to 60,000 seats again. And then that'll kind of max out Ellen Road. And then we can maybe, if we need to, look to moving into the Aussie Villain Arena. Okay, more breaking news, and it's another signing, and it's a right back, and it's Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Welcome to Leeds United. We got him for almost £13 million. He's only rated as a C signing by the fans, which is, I think, a little bit harsh. We got him in as a fringe player. Don't worry about that. That was just to keep the wages down. I've been after him most of the summer, to be honest. So we finally got the man. 68 grand a week we're going to be paying him. If we have a look at exactly what we've signed here, he's a really, really good attacking right back. So I think, but he can also tackle, obviously. So I think what we got here is basically he will share this role with Louis Coyle. Bartelik, we can now look to actively get out of the club. He's just a good all-round attacking player. We could, in theory, use him a little bit further forward if we got desperate. He could play as a winger. But he's a fullback. He's a good tackling fullback, and I'm really, really happy we've got him. Really two good options at right back now. Okay, transfer window has now closed. We didn't get a centre back in, but I'm okay with it, and I'll show you why in just a second. But it has been a hectic deadline day. Let's just go through it quickly here so you can see. First up, Leif Davis left the club. His contract was up at the end of the year. He wasn't going to sign a new deal. I was hoping to maybe keep him as a third choice centre back, but what we've done is we sold him on $3 million. We get 50%. Oh, it was actually more than that because there's 3 installments there as well, so it's about $4 million, I think. But we get 50% of his next of his sell-on fee there. We do have to pay a little bit of his wages, but in the end of the day, it's fine. He was third choice. He can go on. He can have a better career, and we can get some cash for him. Bartelik had a bid come in on the deadline day of $8.25 million. Yes, please, we'll have some of that for Bartelik. Spoiler alert, he did in fact leave, as you can see there. Wolves came in with a bid for Erling Haaland. I was tempted, but we're not going to give up on him just yet. He had a poor season last time out, but we know what he can do. So £46.5 million rejected there. Then if we go up here, we had a bid. That was where Davis officially left the club. You can see there, so 50%, 20 of which will go to Morecambe, but that's fine. We go up here, Bogac. Now this was eye-watering. £53 million for Bogac. I rejected it. I kind of rejected it and then thought, oh, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't have done that. The initial reason I didn't is because he's a club-trained player, I believe. I hope he is, or else I've made a horrible mistake. Increasingly, I think that's a lot of money for Bogac, but deadline day, I don't know if we necessarily had to sell him. We certainly didn't have to sell him finance-wise, but I do wonder if maybe that was a mistake. Let me know what you think in the comments, but club-trained players are really, really useful registering European squads. If we keep going up here, Bartelik, as you can see here, did eventually sign to go to Huddersfield, which is fine. We had already accepted a bid for Club America, but it was less money, so I'm really glad he did end up going. There it is there. End up going to Huddersfield, so that's a good thing. We then had a bid come in for Louis Coyle, £25 million for Louis Coyle. We didn't have time to get another right back in. He was a player of the year last year. I would have considered it earlier on in the window, but at 10-3 on deadline day, that was never going to happen. And then that was pretty much, we had a couple of bids come in for Max Dean, but he's staying because we want him to play first team football. And that just about did the window. You can see there player wage expenditure in the Premier League. We're still down there in 16th despite what we've done this window. There is the sort of the headlines. Rodrigo from Real Madrid to Chelsea for $115 million. This guy went from Barcelona into Liverpool for $109 million. And a world-class midfielder went from City to Milan. So that's good, but that's someone we have to worry about. City spent £208 million. Watford bought in 10 players. We have a quick review of what we did. We actually made a profit. We've almost doubled the money. We made $83 million. We spent $48. Of course, the main outs, I'll cut one minor out to catch you up on 2 minor outs. Alfie Hughes has left 55 grand off to Huddersfield, and the guy that we signed from Aberdeen for 40 grand has left for 235, so we made a little bit of profit there. But Helder Costa left the club, of course, was a big one. Lumley for $1 million, the backup goalkeeper, left. Bonifazi's contract was up at the end of the year. He went to Monaco for $28 million. Toussaint contract was up. He went to Atalanta for 7.5. Edouard, we got $30 million for a massive flop. So that was good news. And then it left Davis, but the other big one, Carlo Bartelik, has gone out on deadline day there for $8.25 million. The guys that we got in, a couple of minor kids to start with, of course. Gor Kacharian for 10 grand, which is fantastic. And Luis for 140 grand, who we may see later on in the season, but for now he's down the under 23s. The big ones though, Renier, of course, came in, a real potential star in the centre of midfield there for us, in behind the strikers. So he came in for 17 million, potentially rising to 30.5. Under came in from Roma, 18.5 million, an upgrade on what's his face? Helder Costa. I think he'll do well for us. And then, of course, Aaron Wan-Bissaka came in as well, an upgrade for Bartelik. It says he can improve a little bit. He's 25, probably not, but I think just on that alone, I think we've done quite well, and we've got him at a relatively good wage as well, I think, there. So let's have a look at what we have then for the season coming up. Our first game of the season is going to be a Premier League game at home to Watford. The strikers we have, Abel Ruiz is a striker, though I don't know that we'll see him there that often. He'll sort of be fourth choice in terms of strikers go. Erling Haaland will be one of the main guys, as will Ryan Edmondson, who's absolutely lit up pre-season. And, of course, we have Leao as well. And Reina at a stretch can play up there. The number 10's Reina, who we've just seen. Bogac can play a role up there. Alina will be one of the main guys who play in the number 10 role, as will Abel Ruiz. And we've seen that Mariba can play up there as well. In wide areas, a lot of these guys can work on either side, but Bowen on the left. We have Abel Ruiz, who can play on the left, though will more play on the right. Velvake, who was an absolute star at the end of last season. Hopefully that will continue for us this year. Leao can play out here, as can, of course, Under. And on the right, you've seen most of the guys there. The only other one is David Baker, the youngster. We'll look to get him involved in the first team this year. Further back in the centre of midfield, McCalmont can play back here. We're actually quite strong in strength in depth here, I think. Alina can play back here, as can Mariba, as can Gary Turpie, as can Noah Kene, though he will most likely play a little bit in the DM role here when we need to play with that position. Bogac, who we've already seen. Calvin Phillips, we know, is a star for us as well. Mariba, who we've already seen, and Reina as well, who we've already seen. Centre-back. Now, on the surface of things, we might look a little bit weak here, but we have three guys that we know are proven in the division. So Pomgranic, who was wonderful for us last year. The other two, of course, are Johnny Suter, who is very, very solid, and Nathan Wood as well. So they're sort of the three main guys. To sign somebody else, we were looking at sort of £30 million, and we were looking at over 100 grand a week in wages. And what basically was happening is that there was no one that Max Dean was going to be better than all of them eventually. So I thought we have the three main guys, I'd rather Max Dean get that game time as the fourth choice centre-back. We still have Liam Cooper, who is a very useful player for us in sort of Premier League. Even some of the Europa League group stage games, I'd imagine he would be sufficient. Marley Felix, of course, who he signed last season, potentially is quite good as well, potentially a 4-star player. He should be good enough to sort of play a 4th, 5th centre-back role. And we also have another youngster that's coming through the academy, Charles O'Brien. Again, potentially as good or better than the guys we would have signed. So we maybe take a hit this season, but long-term I think will benefit from us. Let me know what you think in the comments. Should I have gone and signed another main guy? But I just think between O'Brien, Felix and Dean, those guys are as good or better than what we would have signed. Left back. We have Zagre, who was very, very good last year. Brad Darrich, who was quite good. With Left Davis moving out, sort of the third choice guy falls over to Francis Winter. A youngster, good physically. He's solid enough defensively. He should be good enough if we get to a point where we need a third choice left back. He should be fine to fill in. Right side, we of course have Louis Coyle, last year's player of the season. Juan Bissaka as well, who we've seen. Then we also have the guys who can fill in. We saw Suter do a very good job over there filling in last season. We have the youngster, of course, still Fiera Oliveira, who is solid enough. He'll do a job if we need to. And, of course, Nathan Wood can play over here as well. Goalkeeper, there's only one number one. It's Onana. What a star he is. Then we have the number 2, the backup of Tom Williams-Aski, who is solid enough, potentially quite good. Came through the academy, sort of ticks all the boxes there. And then if we need a third choice, Ovi Ella, this guy, he's fine as a third choice goalkeeper, really. So there we go. That is the team that we have ready to go for this season. Let me know what you think in the comments. Are we good enough there? Are we strong enough to qualify for the Champions League? We'll go through the board expectations and sort of the pre-season stuff next episode. I think we're 7th favourites in the league, though. But I think if we can get better numbers out of our strikers for this season, then I think we won't be in too bad of a place. Injuries at left back, injuries at centre back could cost us, but I think we're done okay there. Let me know what you guys think. If you have enjoyed this, please do hit thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you next time as we get the Premier League season underway at home to Watford. Take care.